triads on string group 1, 2, and 3. Look like this. Triads are really important. They can be used to spice up your rhythm playing, to add a second guitar part. You can even use them when you arpeggiate them in your lead playing, or like rhythmic ideas in your lead playing. They're really cool, and I think it's super important to understand the theory behind them and how they're built. So let's get into it. All right, so we're going to take a look at the Mike Risko Guitar Book 1. Everything kind of starts with the major scale. That's how we build so many different chords and other scales, and you want to have a good understanding of this. So a major scale is built with a series of whole and half steps. So we have whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, half step. Now, a whole step on the guitar is 2 frets, and a half step is 1 fret. So what we're going to do is we're going to go a couple pages here. I have the F scale demonstrated. So we'll look right here, and you notice we have F, then we go 2 frets higher is the first whole step to G, another whole step to A, then we go a half step to B flat, whole step to C, whole step to D, whole step to E, and then the last half step goes back to F. Now, when we build a major scale, one of the rules is that every letter of the musical alphabet, which is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, has to be represented whether it's natural, sharp, or flatted. So when we build an F major scale, for example, we have F, G, A, B flat. Now, this could be called A sharp. If I was just to play an A sharp by itself, you could call it, that note, you could call it B flat or A sharp. However, when you're building a major scale, since every letter has to be there, we can't call this A sharp because we'd have 2 A's and we wouldn't have a B represented. So that's why it's B flat. And in the key of F, it's a flat key and you have 1 flat, B flat. And the way that this works is, for instance, A is the 3rd note of the F scale. So if somebody says, what's the 3rd of F? All that question means is, what's the 3rd note of the F scale? When you build a scale, they're called scale tones. When you build a chord, they're called chord tones. So the 5th of F is C. And that's how that works. Now we're going to go a couple pages more, and we're going to look at another illustration I have of this. So here's our F major scale. I just have the letters written out: F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F, or I think I just went up to E there. Yeah. And I have them numbered on the bottom. And then I have chord formulas. So a major chord is 1, 3, and 5. So you pull out the 1st, 3rd, and 5th note of the scale that shares the same name as the chord you're looking for. So if I want to make an F chord, I pull out the 1st, 3rd, and 5th note of the F scale, which is F, A, C. Now there are F's, A's, and C's all over the guitar, so you kind of have to figure out how to play them, and you need some systems of how to play them. Good way to do it is on string groups. So we're going to start with string group 1, 2, and 3. That's what I did before. All right, now in the book 2, here's the Mike Risko book 2. This starts out with lots of triads in this book, and I'll show you how I demonstrate them. This diagram here shows the triads with the letters. If I go to the next page, this is the same exact chords, but with the chord tones. So I show where the root, the 3rd, and the 5th are. That's probably the most important diagram, or the most important concept, knowing where your chord tones are around the neck. And then down here are the fingerings for the chords. All right, so what we'll do is let's take a look at how these chords are built. We're going to start with our first string, E. The first letter available out of the F, A, and C on the E string is the note F. All right, so I start there. Now I go to my second string, B. The first note out of those 3 notes, F, A, C, available on the B string is C, which is right here. So far I have the 1, or the root, the C is the 5th, and then I go to the G string. The first note available out of the F, A, and C is the note A, which is right here. So I put them together, and that's how I get my first F chord. Now the way that you build the triads is you're actually playing 3 parallel arpeggios up the strings, and when you stack them together, that's how you get your chord shapes. The arpeggio is just when you play a chord and you play all the notes separately. So I start with this F. Now what happens is the note F here, which is the 1, goes up to the 3. You just kind of go to the next note. All right, so F goes to A. This guitar is a little hard to see because there's no fret markers here. F goes up to A on the 5th fret. So that's the root to the 3rd. The C, which is the 5th, goes back to the root up here on the 6th fret. Then the A, which is the 3rd, goes to the 5th C. And if you put those 3 notes together, you wind up with this. Now, a lot of times, people know that shape, but I think it's really important to know why you're playing that. Okay, so we have this F, and this is the next F. And then we just do it again. The 3rd A goes up to the 8th fret to C. The F, which is the 5th, the root, goes up to the 3rd A. And the note C, which is the 5th, goes up to the root here. And that's how you get your next chord. Okay, now if I do it again, I wind up on the 13th fret with the same shape as I did down here. All right, so here are my F chords again. F. And this is how you would practice, just like this. If you can go higher, you go up as high as you can. Speed it up a little bit. Then what you do is you just go to F sharp. Now you don't really need to think about all the theory behind this. You're starting to just know the shapes now. So I want to think about F sharp. A good thing to do is target the roots. So when you play F sharp, you don't think about, oh, it's F and then up a fret. Try to think of this as its own thing. F sharp, there's my root. That's a good place to start. Okay, this one, that's my root, F sharp. Keep going. This is your homework. Then I go to G. Next is A flat. Come back down. Now when I go to A, here's A. This is my note A on the 5th fret. Same concept, I go up. Now when I get to here, if you notice, there is a fret marker there, that's the 12th fret. If you're on or above the 12th fret, that means that chord will fit down here. Now, I don't need this finger here on the nut. Sometimes I grab that so it feels the same. But that's an A right there. We have the note E, C sharp, and A. So I could start like this when I practice A. That's the first A that comes in on the neck. Keep going up like this, right? B flat, or A sharp. Okay? Let's do one more. B. And you want to go through all 12 keys. What we'll do as we move forward is we'll move to the next string sets, and I'll show you how to do that too. Happy practicing your triads. They're great chords. They take a little while to get under your fingers, but man, it's really worth it. See you next time.